Alright, so today we are working on a 1990 Volvo. This is a wagon. We're going to try to get this thing fired up and get it out of this building. We're cleaning this thing out. We need the room. And want to drive this thing around and see how it drives. This is a 760 turbo. And it's got this 4-cylinder in it right here. And as far as we know, this thing was drove in here about 15 years ago and parked. So if all goes well, the engine rotates, it's got all of its fluids in it. We can try airing these tires up. And we'll check out the interior, see how it looks all around, see what we can do with it. And let's drive this thing out of here. Let's go ahead and pop it, see what it looks like. Wow. The struts are working. That's crazy. Pretty clean. Got a breaker bar. What is it? Let's see. Popular Mechanic, Taiwan. Really like that trim there. I don't know if I can get it on the camera. It's got this texture to it. Alright, let's take a look at the front. These handles. So we got all electric windows. We got electric seats. Now look at the seat. Look. Man, that's gonna be hard to clean. And I don't think I want to be sitting in that either. Look at the dash. Looks perfect. Miles we got. Oh man. 205,000 miles. What's in here? Oh man, that's bad. That is not good. It's all over the car. We'll have to figure that out, but we'll get something to cover the seats. Oh no. Look how big it is. If I'm not mistaken, that's a brown recluse. If it's not a brown recluse, no more. Back seats do look better. They don't like they're covered in that stuff. Let's see, what does the headliner look like? Man, headliner is fantastic, except for that light hanging down. Got a sunroof. You can get an idea what the paint look like, how good it looks. I bet this car will clean up extremely well, except for the inside. That's gonna be a nightmare. Alright, so let's get started on the engine. Let's check everything out and see how it looks in here. Let's go ahead and check. Oh, look at that. It's got oil. And go worry about that. That'll have to get changed really quick if we manage to get it to run. Let's check the coolant bottle real quick before we do that. It had pressure on the coolant bottle. And it's got coolant in there. It smells good. Let's see if the throttle body is stuck. It's kind of sticky. But it's free to, oh. There's a whole bunch of leaves and sticks and nutshells in there. Oh yeah, it feels good now. We can spin off the alternator real quick. Oh. It rotates. Check underneath the oil cap. See what it looks like. It looks good and does smell pretty good. No moisture, no rust. It's not sludged up. Wow, it looks fantastic. We might be doing okay here. We might be doing fine. And we never checked to see if it had a key. That might be an issue. Oh, no. There's no key. So we'll have to see if we can find a key. Don't know if it's in the old farmhouse or what. I can't wait to see it turn over. Maybe get to hear this thing run. Alright, so in order to get this ignition on, since we ain't got a key right now, we're gonna see what we can't pop this off and take the screws out of here, and then we should be able to turn the switch right here and get power. Okay, so I got the upper screw out of here on this side, pain in the butt. Let's see. Yep. Alright, so we can turn this part with a screwdriver for right now since we don't have a key. And this will allow us to start the car. But the steering wheel will probably lock up. We'll have to figure out a way around that for right now. Yeah. Off, on, start. There we go. So we can use that to get it started. And then we'll have to figure out. Oh, the steering wheel's locked right now, actually. So we'll have to figure that out. Ain't worried about that right now. Let's just see if we can get it started. And then we'll come back. We're gonna have to figure out everything we need to get this running with. We gotta yank this battery out and get another one put in here. And then I noticed that the coil wire right here is been chewed off. Let's see, we got the wire here. So we'll yank this off, see how long it is. Try to find another one. I think I know where one's at. Vacuum all this off. Get this off the engine so we can check the rest of the wiring for any problems. Get all this around the exhaust off because there's tons of leaves on the exhaust. Okay. And then we'll follow this wire. Goes down to the bottom. Yeah, goes right into the bottom. There we go. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and fix the wire that is in here. These are real easy to fix. All we gotta do is pull the wire out of here, run it back through the boot, crimp the connector on the end back on, and then that's it. It's good to go. We're gonna go ahead and get this out. I'll have to rip this out of the boot first. Like that. As you're pushing it through the boot, if you just twist it, it'll come right up out of there, like that. You can see how chewed up it is right here. Pretty bad. So we're gonna cut it off back here, and then we'll fold the wire over, and it should be good to go. Okay. Some more of that. Then you just gotta strip this casing off here. Alright, so I found the connector inside the end of the coil there. It wasn't even really crimped on, like it was barely crimped. I went ahead and opened it up a little bit here. We'll take it, put that down to the bottom like that, and then we'll just crimp this here. We'll be good to go with that. It's perfect. And we'll just pull this back in the boot like new. Alright, so let's get the bottom one put in first. That's the easier way to do it. Alright, bottom's in, and then just take your boot, just like that. It's perfect. Made in the USA. It's good. Alright, so next thing is, let's get this battery out of here. Jeez. There's all kinds of stuff down in the battery tray. We'll go ahead and get the vacuum, get all that sucked out, and we'll go ahead and get the rest of this engine bay cleaned up. Then we'll throw another battery in, and we'll see what happens after that. See if we get any juice. But it fits. Let's go see if we got power. Oh, we got power. Got all the lights on. Check. Yes, it's in park. Should we try it? Let's do it. Turned over just fine. That just made this a little bit more exciting. So now we need to see if we got spark, and then we need to see about getting fuel to it. We're gonna check and see if there's anything in the tank. If there's nothing in the tank, we'll go ahead and just go ahead and put some gas in there, and then check for fuel pressure up here, see if anything happens. If not, then we'll dive into it a little bit more. But first things first, let's just see if we have any spark. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and test for spark. We're gonna pull one of the wires and pop it into the spark plug here, and then we're gonna turn it over and see if we get any spark out of it. Alright, go ahead. Alright. Oh no. I think they had it locked. It's probably an easy pick for sure. Let's see which. Damn, got it upside down again. Yeah, I got it right. So we'll take a flathead screwdriver and some tie wire. There we have it. And it's unlocked. Alright, so we got our gas. I don't think the ignition will be as easy as that was to unlock. What's the odds of getting gas? Let's just see what happens.
Yeah, but that's so cool. And we have to get the windows clean and that clean up and the other window and the other window and that other side.
Alright, so I've got the fuel line loose right here. I'm going to go ahead and jump the fuel pump relays and see if we get any fuel out here. Okay, so we didn't get nothing out of the fuel lines there, so we'll be looking at swapping the fuel pump out. So for the time being, we'll just take this intake off, the intercooler pipe here, and we'll put some little bit of gas down in there and see if we can get the thing to start and maybe hear this thing run for a little bit. There it went. Caught on fire. Alright, well now that we know it'll start on gas, we ain't getting no gas to the fuel rail, so we're going to try to figure out whether it's the fuel pump bad or something else. Most likely the fuel pump's rusted up. But I was doing some digging, and right about where the boxes are sitting is a access panel to be able to pull the fuel pump out of this thing. So we're going to get all this out of here, pull the boards up. I think you have to drop these seats to the front, but then we can access fuel pump. I'm really glad about that. I would have hated to have dropped the tank on this car. And then if this one's no good, we'll go ahead and replace it and we'll check the other one. But if this one tests fine, we can put it back in, and then that means that the other one, it's called the main fuel pump, it's underneath the driver door up under the frame right there. We can pull it out and check it. It's probably bad. It does look like that we can get both of them by tomorrow possibly if they're bad. So I'm gonna try to get this out as quick as I can so I know which ones we need, or both, and a fuel filter, and then hopefully this thing will fire off. So let's go ahead. It's bad. Anyways, let's go ahead and get it out. Coming off super easy. Son of a biscuit eater. Oh. Jeez. Okay. We got the ring off. Now we've got to get the wire pulled back through. Finally got the ring off. Alright, so we finally got it out. I thought the fuel pump was going to be rusted up, something awful. And surprisingly, it's not. It don't look that bad except for this tube here has got some corrosion on it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and test this pump now that we got it out. Alright, so we know the fuel pump is bad, so now we'll just go ahead and order a new one of these. Probably get a new main pump as well. Alright, so I was able to get some fuel pumps, and we're going to go ahead and do the in-tank one here first. Then after that, we're going to go ahead and do the one that's on the rail. Alright, so I believe the fuel pump is about right here underneath the door. Alright, let's check out this fuel pump under here. Alright, so this is the fuel pump bracket. It's got the fuel filter in here as well. We'll go ahead and get this bracket off. Looks like a couple 13s. Let's try to see if we can get out these back bolts first. Got it. I couldn't get a fuel filter at the time, so we'll have to replace it later on. I couldn't find one anywhere. What we'll go ahead and do is turn the ignition on and see if the fuel pump comes on and check, see if there's any leaks. And then after that, we'll go and try and start it. Alright, I'm going to turn the ignition. Alright, do we have any leaks? I don't see none. Alright, let's see if it starts. Alright, here we go. Let's see if we got fuel. We got fuel. No, we got spark. We already tested that. Only I can think of is it's not getting past the injectors. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to put 12 volts to the injectors just to see if we get any kind of clicking noise out of them. We'll check all of them and see if all four are making any noise. Okay, so first one we didn't get nothing out of it. Let's check the next one. Nothing. There we go. It's clicking now. That's fantastic. Alright, so I'm going to try to get this closer so y'all can hear the clicking noise and see if there's a difference. All that's happening right now is the wires arcing. The injector ain't making any noise, so we're going to tap it and see if we can get it free up. Okay. No, nothing yet. I'm going to hit the first injector just so y'all can hear the injector clicking. That's what it'll sound like. clicking now. Yep, that's clicking. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and knock out these last two. We ain't got any clicking coming out the third injector. Now the third one's working. We got some vacuum lines that are in rough shape. The last one's actually clicking. I'm not gonna have to mess with it. Almost. It was running. That's awesome. Running very poorly. That it could be a number of things. Most likely it's vacuum. Let's take a quick look around, see if we can find any vacuum leak. That's right off the intake. So huge vacuum leak right there. Got another one here. I just can't figure out where it's going. It just fell off the intake. Definitely might have some new vacuum lines. Let me get you over here so you can see how bad these vacuum lines are. So this is the turbo actuator. Look at that vacuum line. Man. Alright, so I found some of the small vacuum lines. I was able to get it on the turbo. Oh, that's probably the easier one to get it on. It's too small, but it'll last for right now just to get it out of here. Next thing is getting it on the intake. That's gonna be the hard part. Alright, so we gotta get it on right there. Go ahead and cut the length. That line is way too small, but it's on there. It'll work. Alright, so I don't see any more vacuum leaks as of right now. We might have to double check a couple other things if it don't fire off, but that was two big vacuum lines right off the intake that could have been affecting it. So let's go ahead and try it and see if it runs. Okay, what happened? Oh man, the alternator belt shredded. We still got the AC belt though. Go ahead and get that out of there. So we ain't gonna have an alternator now, but let's go ahead and try it again. Alright, there we have it. Thing fired off. Sounded good after a minute. Came around. It really came around. It's not idling that great, but if you hold your RPMs up at where it should be idling, it runs fine. So it's like either it's not adjusted right or we got a air leak. It sounded like I could hear air coming off the turbo side over there. So I need to check that out. Intake boot's loose. I forgot about that. This is probably where our air was going. Okay, that makes sense. We need to get these tightened up. There we go. That was my fault. Alright, so before we start a fire, we need to get the air hose out here and blow all this stuff off the exhaust, off the turbo, get these leaves away from the turbo. This thing's gonna catch on fire before we even get it out of this building, and then this whole place is gonna be up in flames. We do not need that. Alright, so let's go ahead and blow off the exhaust. Alright, that looks pretty good. We went ahead and blew off everything else. Now let's go ahead and air up these tires. We'll start right here since we're already here. Alright, so these tires are in rough shape. They're balled to the outside right here, and they have tons of dry rot all down them. Looks like we'll have to put some tires on it. I was hoping to get about 50,000 miles out of these things. She's airing up. Well, I'll be. They might be dry rotting. These old HTR H4s doing pretty good for sitting 20 years and they airing it up. Look at that. That looks fantastic. I don't hear any leaks. Stay on, they hold. Let's move on to the next one. I hear a lot of cracking. This tire, on the other hand, looks like the tread's brand new. Sumitomo's, that's what they are. Same thing over here on the outside. It's pretty worn and it's got a lot of dry rot through it, but the rears have really good tread. So I'm assuming something's going on causing it to wear unevenly. This one's up off the ground. We're gonna go ahead and air it up before we let it down. We might even poke a hole in these tires as we're pulling it out because of all the bamboo. Alright, let's see if this last Sumitomo will air up. Oh, it's going, cracking and popping. Tread looks brand new on this one as well. It's good for another 50,000. So we got it, all 4 tires aired up. Let's see how long they hold. There's one last thing that we gotta do before we can move this thing out of here. And that is the steering wheel. It's still locked because we've been using ignition right there to start it with, but the steering wheel's still locked. So we're going to find a way to unlock the steering wheel. I was in here looking around, took a couple things off. So I've seen this hole right here in the top of the ignition, and I'm fairly certain that will release. There we go. Alright, so there we have it. We can turn this with a screwdriver now, and that'll release our steering wheel lock. Alright, let's see if we can unlock the steering wheel. Let's see. There we go. Now we got it. Awesome. Alright, there we have it. Finally got it out. And it looks a lot different out in the sun. The front end is seriously ugly. Man, it's so ugly. Once you get past the front end, it ain't that bad. Man, I'm curious as to what this is gonna look like after we wash it. The inside's still a mess. We got a lot of work to do about putting this back together. In the meantime, we can be putting everything back here back together. You can see a whole lot more now that it's out of that shed. You can see the turbo a lot better now. Alright, so that'll be it for this video. Next video will be cleaning this thing up, getting it clean on the outside, the inside. Then we need to go to the maintenance work. We need to do the belts for the AC, the power steering, and the alternator. We need to change the oil, check everything else, and then rip this thing around and see how it drives. I'd like to drive it right now, but you can't see out of the thing. It's dark inside. You can't even see out of it. So we're gonna have to wash it first before we can even think about driving it. So that'll be in the next video. We'll clean this thing up and then do all the service work. And we'll see you then.